We get into a new segment, Legal Matters, where we give practical advice on legal issues that can affect us in our everyday life. And happy to be joined by the one, the only advocate, Nyari Maposa. Hey, Nyari, advocate, good morning.
Good morning, Vic Candy. Hi, Zimbabwe.
How are you, advocate?
I am excellent, raring to go.
Do you ever lose an argument? I'm saying at home.
You know what? The best thing is just not even to get into an argument.
That's the best thing.
Oh yes, especially men. When men get married to lawyers, they're like, It says like, so just try to find other ways of resolving your issues.
Okay, so if you also have any legal issues that you need clarity on, you can send a message on 0772-162651, Advocate Nyari. Vanokwanisa ku answer. So today we're looking at seduction damages, auntie, first of all, and then breach of promise to marry. Yeah. So where are we starting, Advocate?
Okay, we will start with seduction damages, right? Kutongoti seduction, it means wakaita senyoka, wakavaima ukandi attractor, you know what I mean, or you took advantage of me and you ended up having sexual intercourse with me. If without your efforts I would not have slept with you, right? And what's important to
but
note,
wakandi believe is a time yoyo.
Wakandi believe is a belief is and
Digati sheep you won't go remove.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you made me lose my virginity. Saka, we need to understand Vikendi kuti. Nyari seduction damages is about virginity.
All right. Pasina virginity, it's not a conversation.
Pasina virginity hapana nyaya. So if I slept with you and I gave up my virginity under whatever false pretext, yananjifunga kuti it might be kuti uda maybe, you know, then I slept with you, or it could be kuti I was thinking kuti, you know, usually it's about believing, because vasikana vanonzi kuda kurara nemukomana because vada kuroorwa handitika ende tongoziva vakomana nevarume zvavanoita hayi ndoda kutokuroora ndoda tokanda mukicheni iwewe
because vanozoti ndo language yachona yekuti vasvike ikoko ndeyekubhilivhisana yekuti you know iwewe ndichakuroora
iwe ndichakuroora kana kuti life yako ichaita right sterek, you know, paper it doesn't necessarily have to be a promise to marry handitika, but ndezvototi maybe wabva wangoti, you know, uri kunditengera motikari, uri kundiendesa kuDubai, indatoona madreams ekuti ndapinda panapa, you know, and then because of that, you know, your wily ways, I allowed myself to lose my virginity, and nyaya virginity nyaya kuti aidzokere, you know, I can't take it back, so I gave it to you under false pretenses, you know, and because of that you have to at least pay me damages. Aizodzokera your virginity acho, but at least zvinombopodzawo maronda.
Osaka pane madamage, pane muripo unenge utoripo ipapo.
Yes, definitely.
Based on kuwana kwemunhu wachona here or kusungisa, or based on what?
Based on the injury that you caused me, based on the loss, you know, yawanditira. So the courts always, they say they consider every case according to its merits, its own merits. So what were the circumstances of kuzolusa virginity kwemunhu? And all that the girl has to prove is kuti akarara neni, and takarara tese, you don't need to have force, because can I have force yato rape? You know. So this is actually with her consent, but believing falsely, you know what I mean? And I don't know if this can be a safe example, but it can be kuti I don't go to rimbinga inini, and that is not rimbinga. That's not a security guard to reform. You know what I mean? And then you caused me to you know, so remember, the law does not moralize. That's the first
thing. So I was about to say
the law does not
the law is not judging anyone to say there's a moral compass because if I want to get married, could say a doctor or an accountant, and this see role in a doctor and accountant, should I go pretend to read doctor and to accountant? You get what I mean? Yes.
Because I have a right to choose whom I want to be with. and
because I think women have suffered, Kuti, a person, presents himself as if he's comfortable, and maybe that's what she wants. Like you're saying, the boss wako, you are his driver, and why?
And I don't know if this would actually, I don't know if this would count. Yellow bone.
Oh, so are you saying vice versa? Because men can actually, or cannot, sometimes like men now, it's happening. So you can actually sue someone for that.
No. I'm not going to tell you if it's a good example or not. But
okay.
So people understand. Ada yellow bone. When they can have yellow bone, ada yellow bone. At a weekend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you imagine how could pretend I've got yellow bone. And you then falsely made me do something. Did you believe I could do something that you're not? But remember, can I tell a marriage? Usually it's a man who's marrying a woman. So these mama damages usually go in that direction. And by the way, Vikendi, this is not very popular. This is, I think, an indictment to us. In the 21st century. Kuti my damages are in kashomo shtoana vanvashtesa claim ku court for that. It's just important that we mention it so people know kuti there is that option in our law. But
I'm sure they're there, but then it's a conversation because lose their virginity. So it means kuti if the virgins are still there, but then at some point lose their virginity. Through those conversations, someone promised that they want to be with them, or sometimes change exactly. Yeah. So Anzi, by the way, advocate Nyari, and evidence yachona ye virginity iripai, and does it only apply to women? Ye virginity, the men are asking, does it apply to both sexes? Kanamkaza kandi visao virginity, and asking Hansi, how do you prove that she was a virgin? So what comes into that?
Okay, so generally, like I was saying, Vikendi, chinoitika ndechekuti munhu anorora munhu murume, and that is just cultural in our culture and in our customs. Saka generally it's one direction, and sandambonzo hangu kunzi murume anoti wanditra seduction, of course. Oh yeah, by the way, seduction, oh yes, I lie. Kare, before they called rape murume, before they said varume vanorape, varume avarapewe, by the way, and we actually have to talk about that in another segment. But they used to say varume can be seduced, right? So you could be seduced, and
then you play along.
That was actually against the law. So sometimes you see with women, ndonga makambonza shosho kunzi vakadzi vakapiwa lift, varume vakasiwa kupi, and they noticed kuti they'd had their semen removed, vatorwa. So whatever changa chaitwa ipapapo, that was offensive, and iyo inotenda ku criminal.
Yaba kusivu
indotori ku criminal kuti inoda untobatana, and now we call them aggravated sexual offenses. But kare yatonzi ma seduction damages.
Uyanga iri under seduction damages.
Yanga iri seduction. In fact, not even damages, it was under seduction.
Under seduction, okay.
And kana murume aitwa seduced, anga asingadi anzwi whether they've been drugged, whether akasonzwi, then that is a criminal offense. But iye kuti wakandibvisa virginity ish, as far as my investigations go, inenge nongoenda kuvasikana kuti wakandibvisa virginity, because it didn't seem to be an important thing. It doesn't seem to be an important thing for guys to be virgins, and we need to talk about that.
Yeah,
one of these
definitely
days,
yes.
I mean, yeah.
Also because of how most of them have lost their virginity.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true, because they've also been victims, so, but then, mafungire vanu, generally in Zimbabwe, the guy doesn't have to be a virgin, the person has to be a virgin is the woman. So, to the question, when you go to court and you are seeking or claiming my seduction damages, what happens is all you are required to prove, iwewe semskana, kuti ndakarara nemukomana uyu kana kuti takarara tese, kwete kuti akandifosa but akandivhara. You know what I mean? Then kana wangoprova kuti you slept together, the onus the responsibility duty now lies with the man kuti ataridze court kuti aiwa uyu anga asiri virgin. Saka it's not for the girl to prove she was a virgin, it's for the defendant kuti ati munhu uyu anga asiri virgin.
Ari kuunganidza evidence ipi? In his defense, just wonder, hey.
In his defense, he can show kuti this girl, she was a lady of the night. Anotaura kuti hanzi, or some proof of immoral behavior, there's no way she could have been a virgin. Anogona kutounza kana ma witnesses, anenge achiprove awo, and then the court looks at it. Then the second thing is he has to prove that he never ever seduced her. You know what I mean? Kuti iye musikana ndiye akatoataka. You know what I mean? Kuti ndiye angachitondinetsa, angona kutobudisa ma WhatsApp messages kana chinze kuti musikana angachiti saka weni sha saka uya ku sleep over, whatever the case. That shows kuti no, she was not seduced. She was doing whatever she was doing. Achitoshichaga iye. So apana confusion yakaitika.
Hanzi ndikanyepirwa inini kuti ndiri munhu ivirgin tozoona kuti hazvisirizvo. Can I sue them for lying, for misleading me?
No. Handisati ndamboona mutemo unotaura kuti hanzi munhu ari kusungiswa kuti anga asiri virgin anyepa kuti virgin. There will have to be other circumstances surrounding that which will form a basis of a proper claim before the court.
Okay.
Tongoti hako sorry sha. There's no legal, offense inenge yaitwa ipapa. Tungoti maybe it's a moral offense or a social problem, but then we can't say kuti pamtemo chaipo munhu anonzi sha wakanditi uri virgin iwo.
Amo misleader wakakuti iye arifunga kuti ari kurorawo, a virgin pamwe anenge amubhilivhisawo. It doesn't work vice versa, is that what you're saying?
Well, like I'm saying, and ndisikuona the basis of a legal basis of a person claiming kuti wakati uri virgin. It would still go back to kuti seduction or something of the sort, the other way around. You know what I mean? But andisati ndamboona zvichinzi wakati hanzi uri virgin ndobva zvazobuda kuti wanga usiri virgin saka ndakudawo madamages. Zvinhu zvese zvinofanira kuva nemutemo wawakatsika kuti I'm basing it on this, and handisati ndamboona izvozvo. Maybe vamwewo vakandiudzawo if there is such a thing, but no.
Okay, so we're going to move on. We're going to take a musical break, but then we're going to move on to the breach of promise to marry.
Yes.
But then before we leave seduction damages, what do we need to know before we let this one go here? What's the take-home message to do with seduction damages? So as women and as men.
Okay, so as a woman, kana ukaseduciwa anditika wotanga okay, then that happens. You notice kuti okay, I was seduced, etc. The assumption yemtemo ndeyekuti kana waseducwa unoseducwa ka1.
Is that so?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, kana wakatanga wagara nemukomana uyu, motoita 4 months muri mese, you can then later kana mazoramba nauti akandisedusa. You know what I mean? Because you can't lose your virginity 15 times. You lose it once. So the offense inoitika muswa yakaitika yoyo. Yeah. So just for you to know that, and then my defense is anogona kwapa, like I said, you can't say you consented sha, iwo wanga uchida anditika. It's that is not a defense at law, right? Then secondly, if a woman believed, maybe anenge achigara nemkomana otogara naye achibelieve kuti okay takutogara tese ende tichatozororana, maybe the claim can still be firm and can still be solid. But kana wanga uchingogara naye muchingo iye asina chambo kupromisa wozoti ndakasedusa, unzi wakasedusa kangani kwewewe, So I think if you want to do that claim, the minute you notice kuti I was seduced, then you have to stop and then go and make your claim.
All right, we're going to take a musical break. If you have any questions, it is Legal Matters right here on the Morning Galaxy on Star FM, sounding good all the time with Advocate Nyari Maposa. This is a new segment where we give practical advice on legal issues that can affect us in our everyday life, and of course kickstarting seduction damages. Did you know about those? I'm sure you did not, but we live to learn. And we move on to breach of promise to marry. After this, I'm V Candy, 0772162651. That's the number to get in touch. How you doing? Star FM sounding good all the time, and we have our new Monday evening lineup right here on Star FM. Murida on Monday is on at 6:40 p.m. followed by Faith on Trial now at the earlier time of 8 p.m. The Monday Night Sports Extra is now at 9:15 followed by Templeman with Restricted Zone at 10:15. All happening tonight right here on Star FM. It is the Morning Galaxy. I am V Candy. We have Advocate Nyari Maposa live in the studio. Before the musical break, we're talking about seduction damages. Yeah, and now it is Legal Matters, a new segment right here on the Morning Galaxy. Happens every Monday where we give practical advice on legal issues that can affect us in our everyday life. And looking at the breach of promise to marry. Breach? Wandi promise. Wandi pedzera time yangu. So, Advocate, talk to us.
All right. So, with the breach of promise to marry, Kuti, you promised me, Kuti, you were going to marry me, whether we're sleeping together or not. This one has nothing necessarily to do with sleeping together. So it's going to have to do with virginity. It's going to have to do with anything, right? It's just, Kuti, you promised that you were going to marry me. Whether, Kuti, wakandi wasted time yangu, you wasted time, wakandi dzingira shiri dzangu, wakandi brutsira shiri dzangu, you know.
Please leave me alone.
Apa wapura 5 years, neni, you know, and then you just decide, Kuti, kandotozonzwa watu wabvisira rora somebody else, you know. And, oh yeah.
Hello.
So that one, so you know that a lot of people are not a day on Facebook. Even you are dating this person, you know that happens, and it's cannot iwe you know. Exactly. So when a person promises whether it's by engagement officially and or it's just by verbal or what we call tacit, like how you are behaving, you make me believe and whatever we're building here, we're building it so that, you know, for the future, and we're going to solidify this relationship, and then you just disappear, or you then just break up with me from nowhere, you know. A long time ago, there was a previous law before the law that is there now. If a person promised kuti ariku kukurora, right? They can be forced. You could actually do a claim where the court would compel this person to actually marry you.
To act on that promise.
Yes. Yes. And actually, what is interesting, you know, I was just thinking about that, Kuti. In fact, we were talking about it earlier, Kuti. But it might not be in our law, and the courts might not be making orders, but it's like I'm compelling you, Kuti, me believing Kuti, and then so I am holding you to your actions. I'm holding you to, and I suppose it also works.
Plus,
I think what's important is our cultural setup. It's a family issue. It's not just about the guy and a flat track in town, you know. So you see, they usually vanondotizira kumba kwemkomana kuvabereki kuvanhu vakuru who then preside over the issue and say kumkomana aiwa isusu kwedu hakuna vana vemusango, you know, and you did this, you have to honor this girl, you know, and tachimuziva, you know, that kind of thing. So it's a sort of cultural and social but not legal setup, you know, so itika kuti somebody can be held to their promise. And I think another thing that I can say is, Kuti, the girl will have to prove, Kuti, there was a promise to marry.
Okay.
Saka, you know, Kare, they used to give my handkerchief, like zvinonzi ndumwa zhazha, like something that actually shows inenge nezita remukomana, which could only have come from him.
toenda nema-screenshots here izvizvi munhu achitotaura kuti mukadzi wangu ndikukuroora iwe. No, ma-screenshots of that conversation, do they hold water?
Yeah, they do hold water. They do hold water, and of course there's a way that the court like uses my WhatsApp messages and stuff like that, because you can't just, because these things can be manipulated.
So true.
So they've got a whole process of how they can authenticate kuti ndizvo here. But all those things zviri kutaridza kuti sure this was the this
Look
guy
at
did.
Leo.
The way is busy having fun. I told them I'm not so and then another thing I suppose that I can say is kuti what where you are looking at the damages, because you were asking kuti how do you how do you quantify my damages actually kuti ndikuenda court kuti ndikudawo my damages angu breach of promise to marry. I think this one is easier because it's to do with the type of injury that you caused. Because kana munhu akati okay shandozonda ndakupromisa kudai but hazvichaite because zvakamira so saka maybe handiti ndoona mabereki tese in a respectful kind of way yokuti munhu ari because hausidawo ngofosa munhu kuti because you promised chitondiroora because there are circumstances where you then the guy cannot proceed or is not willing to proceed. So zvasiyana izvozvo nemunhu anoita drama repamuchato kuti vanhu vese vaungana, you've invited my friends and and my relatives and vavaunganidza, then you don't pitch. Kana kuti you leave at the door of the church.
Imagine
the reputation, my dignity, everything is just being destroyed because of what you did. So it's also in law we call it contumelia, like my hurt feelings. It goes even further, like hurt pride.
It's a thing, hurt pride.
Hurt pride,
yeah.
And then my reputation, because vananga vachiti akatosiiwa padhoo rechechi mufunge ndoinenge yatoo nyaya munewspaper. So if it's the court compares kuti how was this done, this promise to marry, how was it broken, and then it will determine. So the more injurious it is, the more public it is, the more hurtful it is, the more damages that the court will order. And azvineno turi mbinga here kana kuti hauzi inondoshanda shawo padare munhu my damages ake. Yeah.
Okay, got a message here saying, and we're learning new things, sure, seduction, amana, and breach of promise to marry, and what if my lover, Andrukuda Kurora, goes with another guy, Ndoita say, and another message as well saying, Kuti, does it also apply, to guys where, Murumano Rasi Squachida Kurora?
Okay, like I was saying, Kuti.
And the rumor todanas.
I can see that. Like I was saying, you know what? The law is dynamic, and it. Saka zvinhu kuti perhaps zvinenge zvichizoongororwawo, but with our law, how it has been, murume ndiye anoroora mukadzi. You know what I mean? And women have been the victims more than the men. Murume ndiye anosarudza kuti ari kuroora here kana kuti haasi kuroora. Saka in as much as men are also injured by a woman wanga achihopa kuti arida kuzororawo and he was investing and stuff like that, hapana legal, hapana legal basis yekuti murume wanoenda achiti breach of promise to marry, because a woman does not promise a man to marry, generally speaking, within our our setup, our customary setup. And then pane vanombobvunza futi, ende zvinoenderana nekuti ndakashandisa mari yangu, ndakamba mota, that kind of thing, akandidya mari yangu and stuff like that. No, in the law of Zimbabwe, you cannot go back and say mari yawakaspenda on munhu ndidzosere, even if you discover kuti she was cheating on you or he was cheating on you, because pane magifts akasiyana anopiwa vanhu. Pangorina magifts ekuti vanhu kana ari magifts which formed an integral part of the engagement, then iwawo anogona kudzoserwa.
Like for instance?
I'm just thinking kuti maybe engagement ring, and it's like ring yekuti ndakakutengera, and ring ndoiri kutotaridza kuti we are now engaged, and it's kana kuti vanoita chivanhu stereki vanenge vane zvinhu zvavanenge vakapanana, like maybe before parents and stuff like that. Kana zvinachitaura zvemahandkerchiefs, kana kuti munhu anenge amebhapa munhu maboxer shorts, I don't know, but whatever is supposed to prove to you and what you can show kuti no ndakatoengagwa nemunhu uyu, anditika that those ones can be returned. But izvokuti hanzi akandipa mota, whether it's of little value or high value, ndakamomutengera mapizza kana kuti chinyi, hanzi those are considered at law as outright donations at the time they were given.
What?
Yes.
So you can't come and claim the car, you can't come and claim if it's that's now in my name, maybe an apartment or
whether it's little value or huge value, right? There's no legal basis of actually going to claim that, because it had nothing to do with the engagement. Engagement, that's what you can return, and that's what you can claim back. But especially ku boys, exactly, like no, that transaction
can they actually be sued for trying to claim back my donations? What is they called? What?
I don't think they can be sued for that.
What if they're now abusing me, trying to claim back what they gave me?
Then it becomes a crime.
Or then it's a crime.
Yeah, then you just go and report to Mapurisa, or to a peace order, or to a protection order, whatever the case may be. Because people have got a way of thinking, whatever the case may be. No. That was a donation, and it was perfecta. It was perfecta. Because you were doing it in erudo rwako, uchitomupa. So if things had gone another way, you would not be claiming. Because
so both ways as a woman, because there's some women who gift men.
That was an outright donation.
I like it, outright donation. Yeah. We're going to take a musical break. Alexi, how are you doing? Legal matters here. We have the advocate Nyari in the house who's talking about the breach of promise to marry. Tikati munhu anozo mangarirwa zvaita sei pamapromise ababa, and she is bringing clarity to us. Anziko nai advocate, can I not sue the person on the legal basis of unjust enrichment? Panawema donations. Donations when they gift you with maybe a car, small things, big things. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, that is not unjust enrichment. That's just enrichment. You know what I mean? If somebody buys me a Mercedes and because they love me, their intention was that I get that as a gift. Zvangofana kuti watengera munhu pizza, munhu akatodya pizza, wangochazowana pizza yacho nakupi. So with unjust enrichment, really understand this. It's where I have also put in my effort, I've put in money, I've put in time, and on this thing, right? And wakuda kutora tongoti, while we were dating, we started a company, and maybe I have 35% in that company, you've got 65%. What then happens is when we break up, then you want to take everything. So that actually becomes a commercial claim. it's not to do with love, it's not to do with anything, because it has now moved from just being a gift. It has now gone further to say, I have also contributed, and I must be given at least my contribution. Even if it was 5%, at least give me 5%. Otherwise, you are being unjustly enriched by something that I put my effort in.
Oh, okay. So where your sweat is there, where
my
your
sweat is as well, and
intellectual property.
Yes, and all that.
Okay.
Like maybe takaimba song tese, you know what I mean? And I also deserve royalties from there. Then you're taking them away. And I'm like, no, I deserve a portion of that.
So nothing to do with love, but
no, it's got nothing to do with love. Even though it could have been done in a love setting, especially my producers and my musicians. Don't say anything, weekend.
Okay.
Usually it happens a lot, with then van vokonana monoba toti and skutaura newe. And then now you don't know how to claim those things. Maybe mom's now register with Zimura, that kind of thing. You are allowed to go to court and say, court, can you please tenzani say panap?
So with a breach of promise to marry, okay, I'll just let you take the flow with the information that we need to know, because vano panema breach if promise and nothing solidifies. So what do we need? What's the take home message here?
Okay, so what I can say is when somebody promises they're going to marry you, whichever way they do it, whether it's customarily, whether it's through an engagement, whether it's just tacitly, where everybody knows kuti obviously anongoziva pano vanhu vayava kuti anongotenderera machechi nemusikana mwana wevanhu achigara naye vachitoita couple zvitori strong, and then and it's such a public thing, and everybody just knows, kuti ndo zviripo. Sometimes if it then can come together and be called kuti you promised, and then you can have a claim. But kuvasikana just because murikurara mese azviroti mukomana akupromisa kuti akuzokuroora, just because ari kukuisa pastatus yake, that's not a promise. Just because anoswera achitadza mavideo achiti couple goals chichinyi pafacebook, that's not a promise. You have to prove kuti he promised kuti ndichakuroora, zvinhu zvinotobatika chaizvo. Kana akaenda newe kwatete, you know what I mean? Kana kuti akakupa engagement ring, like what we're talking about. Kana akata, you must prove kuti it was a promise to marry, because it becomes a contract. That goes beyond anything else. The minute a person says, I am going to marry you, and it's proper, it becomes legal. It's a legal requirement. It's something that you have to perform, otherwise you will be sued for damages. So we've got on the one hand the contract where somebody actually promised to marry, and then we've got yatinoti delict, which is a civil wrong, and where a person, where we're looking at how they then broke the breach, the promise to marry. And so we've got those two, where there's the contract. Once munango promise, but if you can't prove kuti akapromisa, hapana, kana kuti zvazviri mupfungwa dzako, kana kuti